The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabane. Picture this: New York City, 1955. The sun's blazing, the streets are alive with energy, and Grand Central Terminal is packed with people rushing to catch their trains. In the middle of all this chaos, a woman walks down to the subway platform. She's dressed simply, nothing fancy. She waits for the train, boards it, and tucks herself into a quiet corner. Nobody gives her a second glance. Not one person. She's just another anonymous face, completely invisible. Her name is Norma Jean Baker. But then she steps off the subway and back onto the busy sidewalks. She turns to the photographer beside her and asks, with this mischievous little smile, "Do you want to see her?" And then, everything changes. She doesn't do much, really, just touches up her hair a bit, shifts how she's standing. But in that instant, it's like a wave of electricity radiates from her. Time almost seems to pause. The people rushing past her actually stop. They blink, as if suddenly waking up, and this wave of recognition sweeps through the crowd. It's her. It's Marilyn Monroe. Within seconds, she's completely mobbed by adoring fans. The energy is so intense that her photographer has to literally push through the crowd to rescue her. So what just happened? How did Norma Jean Baker, the invisible woman on the subway, transform into Marilyn Monroe, the magnetic icon? It wasn't magic. It was a choice. She decided to turn on her charisma, like flipping a light switch. This single moment reveals something profound and life-changing. It's a secret that author Olivia Fox Cabane explores in her fascinating book, The Charisma Myth. For centuries, we've assumed that charisma is something you're born with, a mysterious quality that some lucky people just have. We look at figures like Bill Clinton or Steve Jobs and think, they're just naturally like that. But what if we've been wrong this whole time? What if charisma isn't a gift at all, but rather a science? A collection of specific, learnable behaviors that anyone, and yes, I mean anyone, can master. That's the bold promise of this book. By the time we're done today, you'll understand that charisma isn't who you are, but what you do. And you'll have practical tools to start practicing it, unlocking a level of personal magnetism you never imagined possible. Let's start by demolishing some myths. When I was younger, I thought charismatic people were always the loud, outgoing types, the extroverts, who could own a room with their booming laugh. But the author shows us this is one of the biggest misconceptions out there. In fact, some of the world's most charismatic people are introverts. They don't command a room with volume. They command it with presence. Another myth? That you have to be physically attractive. Sure, good looks might help a bit, but they're absolutely not required. Think about Winston Churchill. Not exactly a Hollywood heartthrob, but his words and presence moved an entire nation. Charisma is what makes you attractive, not the other way around. The most important myth to shatter is that you need to completely change your personality. You don't. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about learning new skills, like learning piano or riding a bike. Sure, it might feel awkward at first, but with practice, it becomes natural. So if it's not magic, what is it? Olivia Fox Cabane breaks charisma down into 3 essential components. If you remember anything from today, remember these 3 words: presence, power, and warmth. Let's start with presence, because it's the foundation for everything else. Have you ever talked to someone and just known they weren't really listening? Their eyes are kind of glazed over. Their mind is clearly elsewhere, maybe thinking about what they'll say next, or what's for dinner. How does that feel? Pretty awful, right? Unimportant, annoying, ignored. We think we can fake listening, but we really can't. The human brain is incredibly fast. It can read a facial expression in just 17 milliseconds. If your reaction is even a split-second delayed because your mind wandered, the other person will pick up on it subconsciously. They'll get this gut feeling that something's off, that you're not being genuine. And in that moment, trust crumbles and charisma becomes impossible. Being present simply means having moment-to-moment awareness of what's happening right now. It means actually paying attention to the person in front of you, instead of the endless chatter in your own head. Now, this is way easier said than done. Our brains are basically wired for distraction. It's a survival thing. Our ancestors had to constantly scan for threats or opportunities. That rustle in the grass could be dinner or a tiger. The person who wasn't easily distracted, well, they probably didn't make it long enough to become our ancestor. So how do we fight thousands of years of evolution? The author gives us some beautifully simple exercises. Next time you're in a conversation and feel your mind wandering, try this. For just 1 second, bring your attention to physical sensations in your body. Focus on your breathing, the feeling of air entering your nostrils, or, even more discreetly, focus on the sensations in your toes. Yes, your toes. It sounds ridiculous, but it works. It forces your mind to sweep through your body and anchor itself in the physical reality of this moment. Just a 1-second reset, then bring your full attention back to the person you're with. When you give someone your complete presence, even for just a few minutes, you make them feel like they're the most important person in the world. That feeling is incredibly rare and deeply magnetic. The next two components are power and warmth. When we first meet someone, our primitive brain asks two fundamental questions. The first is this person a friend or a threat? That's the warmth question. It's about intention. Do they have my best interests at heart? We assess this almost entirely through body language, a genuine smile, open posture, a soft tone of voice. Warmth is goodwill toward others. The second question is, can this person help or hurt me? That's the power question. It's about capability. Does this person have the ability to affect my world? We look for clues of power everywhere. Confidence, social status, intelligence, physical strength, even wealth. Think about it like this. Warmth without power can come across as eager to please, even a bit needy. People might like you, but they won't see you as charismatic. Power without warmth can be impressive, but it can also feel cold and intimidating. You might be respected, but you won't be magnetic. True charisma is the combination of both. When you meet someone who projects high power and high warmth, you get the sense that they could move mountains and that they'd be happy to move one for you. This combination is irresistible. It's beautifully illustrated by the story of two British prime ministers, William Gladstone and Benjamin Disraeli. As the story goes, the week before an election, both men happened to have dinner with the same young woman. When a reporter asked her about her impressions, she said something remarkable. After dining with Mr. Gladstone, she said, "I thought he was the cleverest person in England." But after dining with Mr. Disraeli, she continued, "I thought I was the cleverest person in England." Guess who won the election? Disraeli, the man who made others feel brilliant. Gladstone projected power and intelligence. Disraeli projected power, intelligence, and warmth. He made her feel seen, valued, and smart. So, presence, power, and warmth, these are the building blocks. But how do we actually project them? We can't just decide to have more power or be warmer. Trying to consciously control all the tiny muscles in your face and subtle shifts in your posture is impossible. This brings us to the most important principle in the entire book. Charisma starts in the mind. Your body language directly reflects your internal state. Whatever you're thinking and feeling will show up, whether you want it to or not. If you're feeling insecure, your posture will shrink. If you're feeling anxious, tension will show around your eyes. And here's the secret key that unlocks everything. Your brain cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. Have you ever felt your heart race during a scary movie? You consciously know it's just actors on a screen, but your brain sees danger and floods your body with adrenaline. The physical reaction is real, even though the stimulus is imaginary. The author calls this the placebo effect on charisma. Whatever your mind believes, your body will express. If you can create a charismatic mental state, the right body language will flow naturally and authentically. So the first half of developing charisma isn't about learning what to do with your hands. It's about learning to manage your internal world. And to do that, we first need to face the obstacles in our way. The first obstacle is physical discomfort. Imagine you're in a critical business meeting, trying to project confidence, but you're wearing an itchy wool suit on a hot day. You start fidgeting. You keep tugging at your collar. The person across from you doesn't know your suit is uncomfortable. Their gut just tells them you look tense and uneasy. They might misinterpret that tension as lack of confidence in what you're saying. Hunger, cold, heat, an uncomfortable chair. Any of these can hijack your mental resources and leak into your body language. The solution is simple: prevent, recognize, and remedy. Plan ahead. Choose comfortable clothes. Eat before an important meeting. If you feel discomfort arising, like sun in your eyes, don't just suffer through it. Acknowledge it. Say, "Would you mind if we shifted a bit? The sun's right in my eyes." This prevents them from misinterpreting your squint as disapproval. But far more powerful than physical discomfort is mental discomfort. This is where the real work begins. The author identifies key culprits that destroy charisma: anxiety, dissatisfaction, self-criticism, and self-doubt. Think about anxiety, especially the kind that comes from uncertainty. Our brains hate uncertainty. They see it as an error that needs fixing. We'd often rather get bad news than be left in suspense, because at least bad news is certain. This discomfort with the unknown makes us anxious, and that anxiety leaks through our body language, making us seem less present and less confident. So what do? The author offers a beautiful technique called the responsibility transfer. Find a quiet moment, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Now imagine a benevolent, all-powerful entity, God, the universe, fate, whatever feels right to you. Visualize lifting the weight of all your worries, the outcome of this meeting, this project, this relationship, off your shoulders and placing it onto theirs. They're in charge now. Everything's taken care of. Your only job is to do your best and enjoy the journey. Does this magically solve the problem? No, but it uses the placebo principle. For a moment, your brain believes the burden has been lifted, and in that moment, it sends a signal of relief through your body. Your shoulders relax, your breathing deepens, and the anxiety fades. You've changed your internal state, and your body language follows. Another charisma killer is self-criticism. That little voice in your head telling you you're not good enough, that you just said something stupid, that you're going to fail. When that voice attacks, your brain perceives it as a real threat. It goes into fight-or-flight mode, releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Your higher cognitive functions, the smart, creative parts of your brain, start shutting down. You can't think clearly, and the tension flashes across your face. The person you're talking to sees it and assumes it's a reaction to them. This leads to what's called imposter syndrome, the feeling that you're a fraud just waiting to be exposed. Here's a fascinating fact. The author reveals that over 70% of people have felt this way at some point. It's especially common among high achievers. Every year at Stanford Business School, 2/3 of incoming students raise their hands when asked if they feel like the one mistake the admissions committee made. You are not alone in this feeling. So how do we handle all this internal negativity? The author gives us a powerful 3-step process. Step 1. Destigmatize discomfort. Simply realize that these feelings are normal. Everyone experiences them. Even enlightened monks get angry. When you feel shame or anxiety, your first thought might be, "I shouldn't be feeling this way." So now you feel bad about feeling bad. Destigmatizing means giving yourself permission to be human. Remind yourself that billions of people have felt exactly this way. It's not your personal failure. It's part of the shared human experience. This alone can strip the negative feeling of much of its power. Step 2. Neutralize negativity. This is about realizing your thoughts aren't facts. Your mind isn't a perfect mirror of reality. It's a filter, and it has a strong negativity bias. It's designed to look for threats. Remember the gorilla experiment? Participants watched a video of people passing a basketball and counted the passes. Half completely missed a woman in a full gorilla suit walking through the middle of the scene. Our attention is limited. We don't see reality. we see the version our brain chooses to show us. When a negative thought pops up, don't argue with it. Don't try to suppress it. We all know what happens when you try not to think of a white elephant. Instead, just label it. See it as graffiti on a wall. It's just a thought, an electrical impulse. It has no inherent power over you. Step 3. Rewrite reality. This is the most creative and powerful step. Since we often don't know the true story behind a situation, we might as well choose the interpretation that helps us most. This is called cognitive reappraisal. Imagine you're driving to an important meeting and someone cuts you off aggressively. Your first reaction is anger. Your body floods with stress hormones. Now, what if you learned that driver was a parent desperately rushing their choking child to the hospital? Would your anger instantly vanish? For most people, it would. You can do this for any situation. You don't know why your boss seemed cold in the meeting. Maybe they're not mad at you. Maybe they have a splitting headache. Or they're worried about their own problems. By choosing a more compassionate story, you change your emotional state, which protects you from stress and keeps your body language open and warm. This is especially powerful for dealing with resentment. As the saying goes, resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. The author suggests an exercise called getting satisfaction. Write a letter to the person you resent, saying everything you've ever wanted to say. Get it all out. Then, on a fresh sheet of paper, write their response, the perfect, heartfelt apology you've always wished you'd receive. Your brain, unable to distinguish imagination from reality, will feel a sense of closure. The resentment will lose its grip. Once we've learned to clear away the obstacles, we can start proactively creating the mental states we want. And the most powerful tool for this is visualization. Top athletes have used this for decades. Golfer Jack Nicklaus said he never hit a shot, even in practice, without first creating a perfect mental movie of it. When you vividly imagine yourself doing something, your brain activates the same neural pathways as if you were actually doing it. You can literally change your brain structure just by thinking. To boost your confidence before a big presentation, don't just think, be confident. Close your eyes and remember a time when you felt absolutely triumphant. Hear the applause. See the smiling faces. Feel the warmth of success rising in your chest. Make it as sensory-rich as possible. When you open your eyes, your body will be coursing with the same chemistry of confidence you felt in that moment. Your posture will be more expansive, your voice more resonant, and your presence undeniable. This works for generating warmth too. And the path to warmth often begins with 3 practices: gratitude, goodwill, and compassion. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to neediness and desperation. Instead of focusing on what you lack, focus on what you have. It doesn't have to be big things. You can be grateful for the sun on your face, the comfort of your chair, or the taste of your morning coffee. This simple shift in focus can soften your entire demeanor, making you project both warmth and a grounded sense of confidence. Goodwill is simply the state of wishing others well. In any interaction, try to find 3 things you genuinely like or appreciate about the person in front of you. As you search for the positive, your mental state changes, and your body language follows, projecting a warmth the other person can feel. A simple but profound visualization is to imagine everyone you meet has invisible angel wings. It sounds whimsical, but seeing them, even for a second, as fundamentally good, can instantly soften your heart and warm your expression. Sometimes goodwill isn't enough, especially with difficult people. That's when we need compassion. Compassion is empathy plus goodwill. It's not just understanding how someone feels, but also wishing them well. The author guides us to imagine their past. What was their childhood like? What struggles have they faced that you know nothing about? What if this were their last day on Earth? This isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about protecting yourself from the toxic effects of their negativity. It allows you to stay centered and warm, which is surprisingly effective at disarming difficult people. And perhaps the most challenging but most rewarding form of compassion is self-compassion. This is the warmth we direct inward, especially when we fail. It's not self-pity or self-indulgence. It's treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a good friend. Research shows that people with high self-compassion are more resilient, less anxious, and more willing to take personal responsibility for their mistakes, because failure doesn't trigger a spiral of self-criticism. With all these internal tools, you're now ready to master the different flavors of charisma. The author outlines 4 main charisma styles. You don't have to be just one. True masters can shift between them depending on their personality, their goals, and the situation. First is focus charisma. This style is based on presence. It's the charisma of the great listener. Think of Elon Musk, an introvert who, when he emerges from behind his work, gives you his complete, undivided attention. This style makes people feel heard, respected, and understood. It's incredibly powerful and a great starting point for anyone, especially introverts. Second is visionary charisma. This is the charisma of Steve Jobs. It's about projecting absolute belief and conviction in a bold, inspiring vision. Visionary charismatics don't just sell a product, they sell a better world. They tap into our deep discomfort with uncertainty and give us something solid to believe in. This style inspires passion and loyalty. Third is kindness charisma. This is the charisma of the Dalai Lama. It's based purely on warmth. It comes from a place of complete, unconditional acceptance. It makes people feel cherished, safe, and seen. This style creates deep emotional bonds and can be a powerful tool for connection and healing. Fourth is authority charisma. This is the charisma of Colin Powell. It's based on power, status, and confidence. People with authority charisma are listened to and obeyed. We're hardwired to defer to authority, and this style commands respect. The key is finding the style that best fits your personality, and then learning to sprinkle in elements of the others. An authority figure who can show kindness is far more effective. A visionary who can also be present and listen is far more inspiring. Finally, we put it all into practice with the externals, the things people see and hear. It starts with first impressions. They happen in seconds, and are incredibly hard to reverse. The golden rule is simple. People like people who are like them. This goes back to our tribal instincts. So pay attention to the tribal wear. Dress appropriately for the environment. You wouldn't wear a suit to a tech startup, and you wouldn't wear a hoodie to an investment bank. And then there's the handshake. A bad handshake, the dead fish, the knuckle cruncher, can kill a first impression before a single word is spoken. A good handshake should be firm, with full palm contact, and accompanied by warm eye contact. It's a small detail that makes a huge difference. When it comes to conversation, the goal isn't to impress them, but to let them impress you. Make them feel interesting. Ask open-ended questions. Keep the spotlight on them. As Disraeli said, talk to a man about himself, and he will listen for hours. Your voice is another powerful tool. To project power, speak slowly, pause often, and drop your intonation at the end of sentences. Think of a judge delivering a verdict. To project warmth, there's only one thing you need to do. Smile. Even on the phone, a smile changes the tone of your voice in a way people can hear and feel. And finally, your body language. To project power and confidence, take up space. The author calls this being the big gorilla. Stand with a wide stance, open your chest, and keep your posture expansive. Studies show that holding a powerful posture for just 2 minutes can increase testosterone, the confidence hormone, and decrease cortisol, the stress hormone. You can literally change your body's chemistry by changing your posture. To project high status, be still. Avoid fidgeting, excessive nodding, or using filler words like and ah. This stillness, or poise, conveys a deep sense of self-assurance. As you master these skills, you'll find your life beginning to change. People will be more drawn to you. Your ideas will be heard. You'll become more influential. But the author wisely concludes with a chapter on the charismatic life and its challenges. With charisma comes responsibility. You'll become a magnet for praise, but also for envy. You'll need to learn to share the glory and transfer credit to others to keep them on your side. People may also feel so comfortable with you that they reveal more than they should, and may feel shame later. You have to learn to gently guide the conversation to protect them. And finally, you'll be held to a higher standard. People will expect more from you. The antidote is to show your vulnerability. Admitting a minor flaw or a moment of uncertainty doesn't diminish your charisma. It makes you more human, more relatable, and ultimately more likable. As we come to the end of our journey through the charisma myth, I want to leave you with a final thought. Of all the powerful ideas in this book, the one I believe is truly life-altering is the shift from seeing charisma as an identity to seeing it as an activity. It's not about being charismatic. It's about doing the things that create a charismatic experience for others. This is incredibly empowering because it means charisma isn't some exclusive club you have to be born into. It's a path open to every single one of us. The core of this path, as Olivia Fox Cabane so brilliantly lays out, is mastery of your own internal world. Before you worry about where to put your hands or how to modulate your voice, you must first learn to quiet the storm inside. The anxiety, the self-doubt, the inner critic, these are the true enemies of charisma. By learning to destigmatize these feelings, neutralize their power, and rewrite the stories we tell ourselves, we lay the foundation upon which everything else is built. The practical tools in this book are like a master craftsman's toolkit. Visualization isn't just wishful thinking. It's a way of rehearsing for success at a neurological level. Gratitude and compassion aren't just nice sentiments. They're chemical triggers that change your physiology and broadcast warmth through every fiber of your being. And the physical postures aren't about faking it till you make it. They're about using your body to send new instructions back to your brain, creating a positive feedback loop of confidence. So where do you begin? It can feel overwhelming, I know, but you don't have to do it all at once. Here are 3 simple things you can start doing today. First, practice presence. Just once today, in one conversation, make a conscious effort to be fully there. When you feel your mind drift, gently bring it back by focusing on your breath or the feeling in your toes. Notice the difference it makes, both in how you feel and in how the other person responds. Second, pick one technique for handling mental discomfort. The next time that voice of self-criticism pipes up, don't fight it. Just try labeling it. Say to yourself, self-criticism is here. See it as graffiti on a wall. See what happens when you don't give it so much power. Third, experiment with one charisma style in a low-stakes situation. Maybe you're naturally an introvert. Try practicing focus charisma with the barista at your local coffee shop. Give them your full, undivided attention for the 30 seconds you're interacting. See how it feels to make someone else feel truly seen. This book isn't about manipulation. It's about connection. It's about learning to remove the internal barriers that prevent us from showing up as our most confident, warm, and authentic selves. The charismatic person you wish you could be isn't someone else. It's a version of you that's already there, waiting to be revealed. And now you have the map to find them. That was a summary of the Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabane. We've explored the core principles today, but I'll be honest, a summary is like looking at a travel brochure. The real adventure happens when you take the trip yourself. The true magic of a book like this happens in the quiet moments of reading, when a particular story or simple idea connects with you in an unexpected way. This summary is your map, designed to help you decide if this is a journey worth taking. If anything we've talked about has sparked something inside you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see yourself and the way you walk through the world. A link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please hit that like button. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next journey into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Your support means the world and allows us to keep exploring these incredible ideas together. Let's keep growing.